Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, CM Punk is back in the main event at All Out. Rumors abound. Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Aleister Black, Malakai Black, Tommy End, whatever you want to call him. And we have predictions, all kinds of predictions. 3 pay-per-views this weekend, and I do not call them preview live events because I do not work for that fucking company. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. I said that with authority.
I almost feel like Rage Against the Machine should be coming on after you said something like that.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. I am your host, as always, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Swollen Arenado. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Oh, that's great. It's like every week it's a treat. I swear to God. I'm holding my head down. I'm like, I don't want to look. And then he says whatever the AKA is, and it's always a nice little belly chuckle of laughs. And on that lovely note, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 272, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart says, #boo the heels. It's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the holy trinity of BFR. I was telling Bill when I got in, it wasn't Ice Cube I had a good day, but it was a pretty goddamn good day. So I'm glad to be here. We're going to talk a shit ton of wrestling.
And out there in our nation's beautiful, scenic Pacific Northwest, we have somebody who's definitively not from Missouri, not from the Show Me State. We do not claim him. He is from Illinois. We have Two Beer Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beer?
What the fuck was that?
It was an exchange we just had on Facebook, like just 5 minutes ago. What's going on, Two Beer?
Oh, it's my first day out of quarantine, so I'm just getting COVID. So it was a good run while it lasted, and I was able to watch a bunch of wrestling, while I was doing shit else.
How'd you feel?
So,
did you get sick?
I get super sick. I got very, very fatigued, and I'm still super tired. Like, I don't know if I'll ever feel joy again.
Right.
Or ever want to sleep like less than 10 hours again. But that's really not a huge departure from my previous life. So
9 hours of sleep is that's my bread and butter, man. That is just perfect. 9 hours, man. 9 hours of sober sleep. Zach, we're glad you made it through. We are coming at you from beautiful St. Charles, Missouri, out on my back deck. My poor baby is teething and has been in a bad mood the last couple days. I've never seen her in a bad mood before. She was almost inconsolable yesterday and tonight. So I guess I get what all you parents have been saying all this time, but the only difference is I love my kid way more than you guys love yours. So we have 3 pay-per-views this weekend. 3 pay-per-views, and that is a first. Well, 3 pay-per-views on... No, I think that's still a first. Like, even if you count Ring of Honor and shit like that, I don't think we've ever had that. So we have...
I think we've done 3 prediction shows before.
It's rare. It's probably happened before, but it's been a while.
We are looking...
It is not common.
I think we're looking at 25 matches to pick, and 14 of them are AEW. There are 14 matches on that AEW card. 3 on the pre-show, but Guess what? The three on the pre-show, 2 of them look really fucking good, and you don't want to miss it. Anyway, without further ado,
that AEW show is taking place in Chicago, but it's reached the age of consent in Mississippi. I mean, 14 is a lot.
That is so many. I mean, they added Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. Anyway, without further ado, let's get to that 3 count. Oh, which one's 3 count? Oh, here it is. 1, 2, 3. JCB, kick it off.
Oh, that's great.
Throw me your lighter first.
Never to be one to step on anyone's toes. We're going to talk about just general rumors, innuendo, all that good stuff on multiple levels. In this case, we'll talk about the biggest rumor that I saw today, this afternoon, as I was on the way home, I looked on Twitter and Braun Strowman was trending, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, what this dude? It's like anybody that's trending, I'm like, oh, man, what'd you do, dude?
He either got Me Too'd, killed, or got signed.
Well, in this case, it's Braun Strowman, so I'm like, what the fuck this dude say? I'm like, okay, what did he say? I mean, like, you know, control your own narrative, blah, blah, blah. We get it. Well, the rumor is that obviously, if you haven't figured it out or haven't heard, Braun Strowman is going to be one of the latest to return back to the WWE. He's scheduled to come back on their Labor Day show on Raw. Not a huge surprise, at least for me. And when we heard that Braun Strowman was released, it was a surprise to us, just in the sense that Strowman felt like at times a more larger-than-life character. He felt like he was a WWE guy. He felt like he was a WWE character, even when his babyface run was very childish at certain times with the Strowman train running around the outside of the ring. You know, there were the other times where you're seeing him toss over, you know, ambulances with Roman Reigns in it. So there was always something
Former
about...
Former champ. Won the tag belts at WrestleMania with a child.
Okay, so there was always... That's
bonus points if you can remember the child's name.
Nicholas?
Damn, you are good. I didn't even know it. I was like, when you say it, I'll know it.
It's like, yes, that's that Tiger Woods fist pump. He had a Big Show kind of feel to him where it was, you know, he would be a heel one week, a babyface the next week. It was never really, outside of Roman Reigns, there was never really a sustained character run for Braun Strowman. Him coming back to WWE, I'm okay with that. I mean, with Triple H involved, things are going to start making more sense. We were talking about NXT before we started to record, and I was like, you know what? I've been the most vocal about NXT since they switched over to 2.0. I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to have to break down and watch this motherfucker because obviously, A, we're doing predictions on it, and B, there's enough talent and enough name power to now where I'm like, okay, you got me curious. What's getting ready to happen? Carmelo Hayes and Ricochet is just going to be ridiculous. We'll start with Braun Strowman. Tubir, I'll kick it to you. Thoughts on Braun Strowman probably coming back to WWE?
Man, couldn't give less of a fuck. Like, just really, I know this is like super compelling Todd, but I just don't care. Maybe, you know, he's just big. That's all. He's just a big guy. And he was hot for a while. Great Balls of Fire era of WWE. Like, they should have put the belt on him. Maybe would have given him some more star power. But he just never really did shit. I know he won that Greatest Royal Rumble. You know, they pushed him always and like made him strong and stuff. But yeah, he doesn't do it for me. I'm happy for the people that are happy. But the guy just seems like an asshole. So I mean, fuck him, really.
Does he seem like an asshole?
A little bit.
I don't know. I really don't know anything about him. Yeah, I'm kind of with Zach on this. I mean, it would be fun if Wyatt comes back and they did some sort of version of the Wyatt family again, I guess. I don't know what Wyatt's going to come back. I mean,
is he going to come back? I guess.
I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back.
Are you excited for him to come back if he does?
I'm excited for Wyatt to come back. I hope he comes back as Hawaiian Shirt Wyatt, though, and not the Fiend. Because
okay, that was my next
as much
question.
as I like the Fiend, or the Firefly Funhouse and shit, which was interesting, it was interesting, and then it wasn't. And also, I was never a fan of him wrestling in a mask. I think that's really stupid, especially when you have...
You want him to come back as, like, Husky Harris?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, that would be funny. Yeah, I think that would be badass.
Husky Harris over the Fiend?
Listen, if he comes back as the Fiend, that's fine as long as he doesn't wear that mask. But I think that he's kind of married to that mask. I think that I've litigated this on this podcast many times. I'm just not a fan of guys that are as good as him wrestling in a mask. I've been watching a lot of Stone Cold Broken Skull sessions that I've never seen. I was just watching the Kane one. It's like even Kane, he was interesting with the mask, but he was better without the mask, if you ask me, and then even better when he came back with the mask because it was kind of a throwback. Which is all to say, I spent a lot of time talking about anybody but Braun Strowman because I'm kind of with Zach. Like it was strange when he got released because, just like Jason said, he seemed like a WWE guy. He was a champ. He beat Goldberg at WrestleMania to retain the championship or to win the championship. One of the two to win the championship. To win it, yeah. Which, you can roll your eyes at that, which Jason did, but I mean,
no, I didn't.
For WWE, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal, and I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo that.
I think what's more interesting than Braun Strowman coming back is the other rumor that our friend of the show, Mark Ortolan, put on Friends of BFR on Facebook today, which is that
Malakai Black apparently is asking for his release or has asked for his release.
Now, this is interesting.
Yeah, because quite obviously he just got there. There's a stable that's formed around him, even though it's kind of stalled like other things have kind of, stopped and started in AEW. There's a match with them on the AEW All Out card. So, I mean, I'll say this. If he did, let's just say for the sake of argument, he did ask for his release. That's really not a good look because he just got there. Okay, I get why, but it's just not ultimately the best of looks. This is what I've been saying for a long, long time just about the roster in general. With less TV time, you don't have enough time to build stars or flush angles. I won't even talk about the injury portion of the program. I can understand Malakai Black's frustration, Miro's frustration, other guys that have come out and apparently Roosh that have come out and, not been necessarily pleased with their AEW time so far. I don't know if I necessarily think that this is a thing, but if it is, I can understand why it's a thing.
Zach, what do you think?
I don't even think it's true. I think it's just unsubstantiated, like Twitter rumor bullshit. I don't know. Like the dude's featured pretty prominently. He's featured pretty strong.
He's a Triple H guy.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Is he featured prominently? Is he featured
every week?
Yeah.
Every week, and he was injured for a good while, so that's why he wasn't wrestling. But he was still on TV every week.
Fair enough.
I think it's just a bunch of bullshit.
If it's true, how about this? I'll address the rumor as though it's true. If it's true, this is the beginning of the actual whatever we used to call it, the Wednesday Night Wars or whatever. This is actually the beginning because now, guys, if it's true, this means a guy that everybody was so excited to come over to AEW is now going back to the mothership, WWE, the biggest promotion in the world, and the promotion that is quote-unquote uncool, and that is quote-unquote not for workers. Now, we're only about 5 weeks into the Hunter era of WWE booking. It's well documented on this podcast that he is making his stamp. He is definitely showing us what his vision of the main roster would look like, and probably NXT, considering it. I mean, when you think about how NXT went this week, which was a really good go-home show. It was they made the unification of a lot of these belts, and the end of NXT UK seemed like a very big deal, bringing back a lot of main roster guys kind of out of character, kind of back into their NXT characters. You know, Ciampa seemed like a face. Finn Balor was acting like a baby face. Ricochet's in the match. Doudrop and Nikki ASH are in the match. So
Rhea Ripley.
If it's true, then it's a big deal and also very exciting because maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to see Aleister Black, Malakai Black, kind of do what he gets to do. Like, I understand that he's on TV every week and that he cuts these weird promos. And I guess I forgot that he was hurt. But I like to watch the guy wrestle. I liked watching him wrestle Velveteen Dream in NXT. I liked watching him wrestle Cody Rhodes when he first got to AEW. By the way, Velveteen Dream got arrested 2 more times this week, or got arrested on 2 charges this week.
Oh, okay. I was like, he got arrested again? God damn, dude, yeah. Sit your ass down.
It's not going well for him.
Regular Ezra Miller.
You know what? I actually get that joke. But that is more exciting to me if it's true, and I'm just going to choose to believe it because I'm a mark like that.
I will say this is like the germ of this rumor is grounded in logic, not specifically from Malakai Black, but like it was a one-way street for a long time. A lot of WWE guys wanted to be in AEW and now are. That one-way street is certainly going to become a two-way street with a regime change in WWE, where guys that never would have been able to make it in a Vince-run company will, even if they won't be top guys, they will still be featured on television. You know, if they're not 6 foot, they know that they can go over there and get some TV time and maybe collect a larger paycheck. So, that's all good for the wrestling business. I think it's going to be a much more of a two-way street. Cody was the first, but he sure isn't going to be the last.
But by no means. Like I said, I'm not sure what to actually.
I guess I did kind of gloss over Cody going back there, didn't I?
Yeah, just a little bit.
One of the biggest stories of the year.
Yeah, no shit. I'm not sure what to believe, honestly. I'll just say this. I think if he had to do it again, he probably wouldn't leave. No, knowing what he knows now, if he had the Monday night quarterback to shit, he'll just like, fuck it, I'll just let this shit play out. Because the crazy part about him being released is that they were starting this new storyline for him, and then it was like a week, 2 weeks in, and the next thing you know, poof, he's getting the boot or whatever the case may be.
And his wife is still there.
His wife is still there, so there's that connection. If he stays, then there has to be a plan in place, whether him, Buddy Matthews, Brody King, make a trios title run, or Brody King breaks off or something. You can't let these guys.
I would have put the titles on them. That's who I would have put the titles on for the trios.
But if he's hurt, then
they could gain the most.
If he's hurt, then what? You can't.
Then you let Buddy Matthews fucking rip.
Okay.
Buddy Matthews can fucking rip.
I will just say that for the AEW portion of the program, but it was more to my point. You can't sign all these guys when you have 2 shows on TV totaling 3 hours. I'm not talking about Dark or Dark Elevation. Either they need a 3rd show or they need to extend Rampage a 2nd hour.
Okay. I guess if there's any other speculation on who's coming back, we can probably broach it in the prediction segment of the.
There's only one other spot.
Bray Wyatt?
No.
Who?
The AEW Casino Ladder match has a mystery spot.
Right.
That's the spot that I was going to say. If we wanted to speculate again, that's the spot. Outside of that, I can't think of anybody else.
Okay. I've already done my predictions.
I saw you.
Okay. So I don't want to be affected by what you guys pick. And also there's going to be a lot of predictions, so we're going to have to keep it moving. Speaking of keeping it moving, let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
Two Beer from Illinois. What's the 2 count? just for a little background. 2 Beer said something about being from the Show Me State, and I was like, "Aren't you from Illinois?" And he's like, "I was born at Christian Northeast, and I lived in Jennings for 5 years. Now, living in Jennings for 5 years,
But that's North County. That's a stripe.
That's like living in St. Charles till you're 70. But still, we don't claim you. Anyway, go ahead. I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, so 2 counts.
Actually, it makes sense why I like you so much, actually,
Right?
that you're from the Show Me State, fucking Illinois.
He's a North County boy.
I know what good pizza tastes like. So we had just a few days before All Out finally have the main event, which we all kind of assumed was going to be what it was anyway. But we had Jon Moxley versus CM Punk, and the way they went about it was a little weird. Kind of like I don't know. I'm kind of split on this. I love the Moxley promo. So essentially, Moxley starts the show. He comes out, cuts this awesome heel promo because he's in Chicago, and he can't be a baby face when he's cutting a promo on CM Punk. So he just plays the heel, does it awesomely, absolutely murders the promo. But the logic in the story was weird because he essentially left an open contract in the middle of the ring and said, "I don't know who's going to pick it up. Maybe CM Punk, maybe somebody from New Japan, whatever." He's like, "I'm just ready because I'm the best." And he left it in the middle of the ring. And then Ace Steel comes out and picks it up. But here's where, like, kayfabe logic just doesn't make sense. Why wasn't, like, Serpentico and every other idiot in the back just running out there trying to get this contract? It's an open contract for the biggest pay-per-view of the year. I know that we were just trying to get to the CM Punk story, but kayfabe-wise, it didn't make sense. And also, I was like, dude, I was like, are they just gonna like try to sell this pay-per-view Jon Moxley versus mystery opponent? Because that would be bonkers. So I was a little bit put off, but then they kind of totally redeemed it when CM Punk came out, started cutting a boohoo promo. Ace Steel comes out, fires his ass up, and CM Punk then, walks out into the crowd in Chicago and accepts the challenge, signs the whole thing. So ended up kind of coming full circle, ended up being good. But I was a little split on this at first. And this was the match. This is the match that everybody wants to see. This is the match that's going to sell the pay-per-view. So I don't know. What did you guys think? I thought the promos themselves were very, very good and very well done. But what do you think?
I thought the Moxley promo to start off the show was unbelievable. I felt it in my bones. There's been lots of wrestlers have come out to talk about how they are unstoppable, how they're not scared of anybody. This one, I don't want to be hyperbolic, this one was very realistic. Jon Moxley, I've said it before, he knows his character so well, and he is very believable as a psychopath, lunatic fringe type dude that really loves, as what he calls, quote, the greatest sport in the history of the world, pro wrestling, and he thinks that he's the best at it, and he sold me. I knew that CM Punk was going to come out. I thought CM Punk was going to come out right then. That's where I stopped liking what was going on, because I kind of know who Ace Steel is. I know he's kind of a Ring of Honor guy. I think he had a little bit of time in WWE. I mean, he probably was in WCW for a while. Like, he's like an old, like, he came of age like 2002, 2003, something like that. Like, I remember seeing him at a Ring of Honor thing or something in like 2007, maybe. I could be remembering that completely wrong. But he is a character that's never been introduced on AEW television. So he comes out, he grabs it, and then the announcers have to tell you what's going on, because they're like, oh, that's Ace Steel. Oh, he's a really great friend of CM Punk. That's fine. CM Punk comes out and cuts his boohoo promo, as Zach so eloquently put, about how he's crying. He made fun of some, if he would have said to the guy in the front row, apparently the guy was booing CM Punk, and he said, I had 16 screws put in my ankle. By the way, that's 16 more screws than that fat guy has had in his entire life. And he said, I probably shouldn't have said that. It's like, you can say that shit, Punk, You just probably shouldn't call the guy fat. It makes you seem like a fucking asshole, you know?
The guy was chanting Colt Cabana at him. That's what he was doing.
Sorry, Punk, you lost that one.
Yeah,
you got to be the bigger man there, Punk.
You just got to let that ride, man.
Is that true? Oh, then Punk got owned.
Yeah.
And then he responded
to it.
to
You could hear it on TV.
I couldn't hear it because
I couldn't understand what they were chanting.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, and I rewound it like 3 times. I was like, fuck, I can't hear what they're saying.
Well, good for that guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're going to be thin-skinned to respond to somebody.
Thin-skinned and a public figure.
Right.
And be involved and be in a public arena like professional wrestling where people get to fucking chant shit at you.
You're in trouble.
Then you can't. That's even worse than I thought then. That is even worse than I thought. And
that chance is going to happen now because, like, dude, like, you've shown that it gets under your skin.
Oh, yeah. I would do it.
Totally.
Okay, here's the thing. I had lots of problems with the CM Punk Ace Steel part of this, and I was watching it, and I wanted to like it, and I was like, you know what? And then, first of all, they told a story within 6 minutes that could have taken 3 weeks. Why not just not have the squash match and have CM Punk come out, cut this boohoo promo about how he not sure, introduce Ace Steel somehow, have the next week do it, and then come out in Chicago and have CM Punk basically cut a Chicago promo, which is all it was. He, like, all of a sudden, he's getting ready to retire. Ace Steel comes out and talks to him for 3 minutes. And then all of a sudden, he cuts his promo about the streets in the city or the arteries in my veins and shit like that. And he rips off his shirt, and he's wearing a Chicago restaurant fucking shirt. And the crowd starts going nuts because he makes Chicago, 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 Chicago. Now, I'm not one of these St. Louis guys that think that Chicago sucks. I think that Chicago rules. I love going there. I don't even hate the Cubs as much as everybody hates the Cubs here. Like when they played the Cleveland Indians in the World Series, I was rooting for the Cubs because even though they're assholes, they're my assholes. I'm not one of these fucking St. Louis dorks that hate Chicago. But the only place where he could get away with cutting a promo like that or having a segment like that where he's going to go over as the babyface at the end is in Chicago, Illinois. And the only way he's going to be able to do it because he lost that crowd. He lost that crowd during the boohoo part of his promo. And that crowd was pro-Moxley. I'm not saying it was vehemently pro-Moxley, but I'm saying it was more anti-CM Punk or more kind of on the fence about CM Punk than any other time we've seen him in Chicago as a professional wrestler because it was a shitty angle and they sniffed it out. And the only way he could get him back was by yelling Chicago 5 times in the promo. So the only way that they can save this, I just thought it was shitty. By the way, it was also corny as fuck. Like, to have him go from, I'm seeing my sister and I'm crying, she's in the front row and I let her down. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, now I'm perked up. It's like he fucking Popeye and he ate some spinach and now he's like cutting this eloquent promo about fucking the arteries or the streets in the city and shit like that. Surprised he didn't mention the show The Bear while he was at it. Like, he's
heating up.
I thought you were coming over to give me a fist bump. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Well, I did. I hit the button for you. That's my fist bump.
The only way that they can save this is if he turns complete heel at the pay-per-view on Sunday and like MJF comes out, helps him, Moxley loses, CM Punk turns on Chicago and just gives him all the bird, rips open his shirt, and he's wearing a St. Louis Cardinals fucking jersey or something. That's the only way they can save this. I thought that the CM Punk portion of this was bullshit. They could have gotten to the same place without having the squash, and I don't subscribe to the thing that the squash was a punishment. I just don't subscribe to that. I think that he wouldn't do that because what's the punishment? You get squashed, but you still go over at the pay-per-view? That doesn't make any sense to me. It was corny as fuck. And Jon Moxley is the opposite of corny as fuck. Jon Moxley is real as fuck and cool. And the CM Punk part was corny as fuck. I wanted to like it. I didn't. If you guys can't tell. Jason, what you think?
Wow. I feel like I hate to now. It feels like the guy that comes after me after I just had a long ass rant. There's I don't even know where to start. The Moxley part, we'll go there first. I was kind of thinking that he would be heelish. He was heelish, dare I say heel. That's your boy. He made sure that Chicago knew that their boy just got that work put on him the week before. The CM Punk portion of the program, I'm with you on that. You had to tell me who this guy was. One, that was running down to the ring to snatch up this contract. Two, I agree with Two Beer. Once that contract hits the floor, man, there should have been guys coming over the guardrail,
right?
Jumping out of the.
Where's W. Morrissey?
Somebody, okay, anybody.
Why isn't he being like fuck?
Okay, I don't care who it is at this point. The execution of it was bad. Now, we can play Monday Night Quarterback because we already have. Basically, the squash match is the fork in the road. Do you do it? Do you not do it? If you do it, this is the result from it. If you don't do it, then you don't have this storyline going forward, this Ace Steel storyline where you can make him shake CM Punk into reality. You would just have the storyline that was probably going on to begin with, a bunch of shit talking, pullaways, possible contract signing, what you've seen before. I'm not sure which one I like more. I think the one to our right, the one they've been doing, was probably the safest way to go about it. This one on the left, the squash match, is the one that makes us talk about shit more. So I'm not sure which one is the best way to go about it. It might be a scenario where we're just going to have to, once again, I'll say, we're going to have to let this thing play out. But the match itself on Sunday is going to kind of make us feel one way or the other, whether they did the right thing or they didn't do the right thing. Once you had the match itself, the first match on Dynamite, you left yourself open to be second guessed. The fact that they kind of fumbled the ball on the CM portion of this program really is going to now allow for a lot of second guessing. The match, I think itself, it should be good. And obviously we'll give a prediction on that here in a second. But I agree with you, Two Beer. The execution of it, I think, was my biggest problem with this. You had a really good storyline where you just had two guys talking shit as champions, CM Punk and John Cena. And I'm guessing that's the way CM Punk wanted to go. Moxley, if all stories are true, this is Moxley's idea to get us to the main event. And I'll just say this. At least we have a main event, and AEW, for me, is still in a spot where they have the benefit of the doubt. I might not agree how we got there, but on Sunday, I expect you to perform and give us a good show.
Right on. Yeah. I'm going to buy it still. They've never let me down. Even, Forbidden Door, the idea of it was fantastic. And then I was like, but these matches don't seem particularly awesome because there was that show was cursed. Remember everybody getting hurt?
Yeah, shit.
All this shit. And then I bought it. It was one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I'm willing to give AEW the doubt on this one. I don't agree with how we got there. I'd rather them just build it up through the shit talking and not take this chance. But it's a chance, and I get it. We are talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Podcasts, people that, are quote unquote very casual fans, come up to me and was like, damn, what happened to, CM Punk? I was like, don't get me started because, I'll go wrestling on you. We're talking about it. So in that scenario, Moxley's
right. It's
not,
how big of an explanation do you want me to give you?
I was getting ready to say, I can give you the Reader's
I can talk
Digest.
for a while.
So in that scenario, I get it. But for me, if I had the pencil, that first interaction where they were in the ring, champ versus champ, and they were just, chirping back and forth, I'd have took that and ran with it. That way, to me, I'm kind of conservative in that sense where I don't want to take chances where, this is the golden egg, and this is probably going to be, if you play the cards right, it could be match of the year, it could be feud of the year, and it's only September. So in that scenario, I've probably been conservative on it. That's just me.
Right on. So yeah, I think the other big thing from this episode of AEW Dynamite was the trios title match in the main event, which again I made sure to find the Fight TV app version of the stream so that I can watch this without a commercial interruption, and I'm glad I did because man, this match absolutely ruled. It started out fantastic because we had Kenny Omega with his amazing entrance. He has Justin Roberts rattling off, his accolades as per usual, but this time it's all in relation to Will Ospreay. So he has a 1-0 record against Will Ospreay from their only singles match. He has a 3-0 trios record teaming with the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay. He has drawn larger crowds in Japan and sold more merchandise than Will Ospreay on 2 continents. He has held 8 more championships than Will Ospreay. It is said he is better looking, has better hair, a nicer smile, and does more charity work than Will Ospreay. He was victorious in his comeback match in Dynamite, which did not take place in North Carolina. So, just absolutely perfect. And that was pretty much the story of this match.
Shit.
I mean, it was awesome. I don't know if you guys watched that match that I linked to last week or if you hadn't seen it before in PWG, the Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus Matt Sydal, Ricochet, and Will Ospreay from like 6 years ago. They did some of those same spots, like they did callbacks like to that match. But really, this whole match is just built around Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega and their eventual singles match because the crowd was so hot when those two were in together, and they really built the entire match around the two of them, getting ring time and getting at each other. That was like the whole story. So, of course, the Elite go over, but there's footage from after the show of the United Empire taking them out. Will Ospreay tweeted that he was done with AEW for a while, but we are certainly not done with this feud. But man, this match was phenomenal. And we have the Elite going on to face the winner of Dark Order and Best Friends, and what's his name? Preston Vance is out. Adam Page is in. I think I called this last week.
Oh, so, Evil Uno caught that work too. So I mean, it wasn't necessarily just because of 10. It's Silver. Yeah. It's Reynolds, Silver, and Page versus Best Friends.
Yeah,
Zach did call it though.
He
did call it.
Yes, he did.
So credit where it's due. I agree. This match was unbelievable. Not a surprise. I made sure that I also watched the feed that I watch AEW Dynamite on, unless I'm watching it live or on my TV. But if I'm watching it off one of those apps where you watch it kind of illegally, when they go into commercial break,
wink.
When they go into commercial break, the announcers still go.
Right.
There is no commercial break.
Yeah, there's no
right.
Picture or whatever. It's like it just keeps going.
I made sure that I was watching it the whole time. Really, the biggest surprise was how much time they gave to Kenny and Ospreay in the ring together. At the beginning, it was just them two. That I thought they might build to that so that they could kind of, tease the crowd. They could edge the crowd a little bit, and the crowd would be dying for Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega to get together. They didn't do that, which I was happy with, because these are the type of wrestlers that if they're going to wrestle in AEW, or, if they're going to wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom or something like that, which is kind of getting thrown out there as a possibility, these are the type of guys that if they wrestled 7 different times, they could have 7 different type of matches, and it wouldn't matter if they had already fought before, because there would be callbacks to the match, but guys would be able to counter each other in terms of what moves were done on previous matches. That's the way that New Japan functions, and that's certainly the way, we saw the best wrestling series of all time between Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. It was 4 matches, and Each one of them went at least 30 minutes. One of them went to an hour draw, and none of that shit was boring. You talk about fight forever. So I'm not worried about them giving away too much. I was surprised that they gave away that much on free television, but God bless them. It's a golden age of wrestling. Don't be mad at it. The match was unbelievable. They had the crowd eating out of the palm of their hand, and let's not short shrift Nick Jackson in this match. Nick Jackson was outstanding. The only person who wasn't outstanding in this match was Excalibur, who kept calling Ospreay Fletcher over and over and over again. And Callis kept trying to be like, hey, Ospreay does this. And Excalibur just kept saying Fletcher. And he just couldn't get it right. And I know, Jason, you're looking at me because you're like, how do you know the difference between Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson?
Or Fletcher.
Yeah, it turns out I know more than Excalibur does. Better take that mask off, bro. I only know it was Nick Jackson because I had to watch this one. My iPad glitched out for a minute, and then I had to go back, and I didn't want to fast forward too much to miss anything that I saw. So I saw the same minute twice, and they said Nick Jackson over and over again, and it was a crazy, pretty whirlwind minute for Nick Jackson. So I'm just going to keep saying Nick Jackson because it's the first time I've ever been able to tell them apart. And even if you showed me a picture of him right now, I'd be like, is that Matt? Jason, what you think?
I said it last week. This is the reason why I wanted the Trio Sounds to be in AEW. There's a bunch of stables going. Well, I shouldn't say stables, factions going around. But these factions have guys that have 3, 4 guys that can do these things. So it just opens up a whole nother avenue. You can bring other guys in from New Japan, Noah, whatever the case may be. Strong Hearts, we were giving them their flowers when they were dealing with New Japan a few months ago. Same concept there. The match itself, I thought was absolutely amazing. Aussie Open is a team that I want to see a little more. I don't know if I have to start watching New Japan Strong again or not. Neither here nor there. I think they'll be in the mix at some point. I was debating on whether or not Omega and Will Ospreay is going to happen at Wrestle Kingdom or a possible Forbidden Door 2. I'm sure. I shouldn't say I'm sure because it's not like I know, but I would assume that Forbidden Door 1 was so good that you're going to run it back and have it again at some point.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did 2 a year.
No, I think if you're smart, you do, especially.
No, you're right. It would probably be overkill.
1 is enough. There's people that are like,
leave one more.
There's people that are starting to get mad because everything's in Chicago, especially with AEW All Out, Forbidden Door, especially in the 2022 year. I get it. So at that point, you might want to say, let's just keep it at 1, but neither here nor there.
That would never cross my mind as to be something to be upset about. Never, ever. It would never cross my mind that I'd be like, well, why don't they travel around?
Well,
because if you live in New York or LA, you want to go see it?
Well, WWE is the flag bearer when it comes to shit like that. So every year, for me, the last of the big 4 is SummerSlam. So every year, 2023, I'm like, okay, where's SummerSlam going to be? Where's SummerSlam going to be? So that way I can plan it and go. AEW isn't at that point. And I'm not mad at them for that shit. Go to Chicago. For me, I love that shit. It's drive on up. Perfect.
Well, it's like...
theirs is intentional, though. They're trying to set up traditions. Labor Day weekend, you go to Chicago.
Right.
Memorial Day weekend, you go to Las Vegas. That's what they're doing, and it's purposeful.
Also, who is upset about them doing it in Chicago? Like I said, is it people living on the coasts?
It's not real life.
Well, go do 1 million of the other things that you can do in New York City, you fucking nerd.
No,
you poor bastards. Oh, my God, I live in New York City. I can't go see the wrestling.
I don't think it's anybody from the coast. Because, if you're living in the coast, you can come in.
I live in L.A. what's there to do in L.A.?
If you live in L.A.,
I live in St. Louis,
come-
motherfuckers.
okay, if you live in L.A., you can come in for the Chicago weekend and go to All Out. You definitely should be okay.
Or watch it on TV. You mark.
I'm just saying that Chicago gets a lot of love when it comes to AEW.
Sure.
I agree with what both
It's a
you guys.
hot-ass crowd.
I agree with both you guys said. Again, hot ass crowd, traditions, trying to do things this way, but it's just something to kind of look at it from a different perspective.
Let
That's
me
all.
ask a question here, and I would like to hear from both of you. We'll go with Zach first. We're clearly building towards a Kenny Ospreay, Omega Ospreay singles match somewhere down the line. Clearly. It's going to happen, provided that both guys stay healthy. If it happens in the next year, does it happen in the United States or does it happen in Japan? Basically, I'm asking, is it going to happen in the AEW pay-per-view or is it going to happen at Wrestle Kingdom?
That's tough because they did Kenny pretty dirty on his way out. There was a lot of love lost there.
You're talking about New Japan.
New Japan, yeah. And I know it was a different regime and stuff, but I think that it would be more likely to happen in AEW because I think it's more likely that they book Will, because Will does, shows all over, whereas Kenny ain't been back to Japan since.
I mean,
And
Ospreay was just in Rev Pro last week. I mean, he is literally all over the place.
Yeah, and he's Warrior Wrestling champion. He's slowing down a lot. Supposedly he's slowing down because it's just really taking a toll on his body and he's getting older. But yeah, if I had to put money on it, I'd say it happened in the States.
Jason?
September 1st, correct? So Wrestle Kingdom is January 4th, so we would have October, November, December, January. To me,
It's 4 months away.
It's good, but it's not enough. I want to see if it's going to happen. I kind of agree with Two Beer on this one. Forbidden Door kind of sounds more realistic. I don't see Kenny going back to Japan. I can see Will coming over to the States and having that match.
I think we're going to see Will in the States a lot more because the money is here. Most likely.
Yeah, and also, I really don't want it at Wrestle Kingdom since Wrestle Kingdom was back to one night. You guys remember the last Wrestle Kingdom we had that had just such an amazing lineup of matches and everybody got 11 minutes.
Right.
It's you either got 7 or 11 minutes. It's just I want those guys to
two nights would be
story.
great, but honestly, if you give me one night with everybody cheering, I'll take the one night.
Can I?
Oh yeah.
And we are getting cheering crowds back in New Japan this week. The Burning Spirit Tour. I saw the lineup. The only match that I really want to see is
the main event.
Yano Gallows.
Ain't this
Exactly. Yeah, the main event.
He doubled down on it.
So let me ask you another question before Zach moves on to more Dynamite stuff. Is the AEW title going to be defended at Wrestle Kingdom? Jason, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just go with current champion right now because we'll say the predictions. Current champion Jon Moxley has obviously a lot of ties with Wrestle Kingdom. Could he go back over? I don't think so. My knee-jerk reaction is to say no. Even if
who would he fight? Let's say it's Moxley.
Let's say it's Moxley.
Let's just have a little fun here. It's not going to be Okada because Okada has said he's not defending the G1, whatever suitcase or win. He's not going to defend it. So he is going to Wrestle Kingdom
regardless.
It's not going to be Jay White. It's not going to be Okada. Could we see Jason?
No, I'm not going to say no.
Naito Moxley?
No, I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to fall into this trap where you get me on a whole 9-0 kick to sets up to fail to Jon Moxley. Shingo, I think it should be in this mix.
Well, he's the KOPW champ.
No, look, give that shit up.
He'll be fighting Yano.
Give that shit. Okay, you got me, Yano. 1, 2, 3. Obviously, Will Ospreay should be in this mix. There's options, but I think Naito should be the third, the fourth, the fifth option. Zack Sabre Jr. I think should be in this mix. I mean, even if it meant a New Japan talent went down, I'd rather see the better match. Okada versus Jericho. You knew who was going to win, but we got a good match.
Are we going to see the AEW title defended at Wrestle Kingdom? Yes or no? One word. Zach.
No.
You can say more than one word because Jason got like 300.
No, I really don't think so. And now that he defeated Tanahashi, I think if you're gonna have Moxley up against another New Japan wrestler, it's probably gonna be Shingo, Shingo or Naito.
Okay,
those are my top two.
All right, I don't think that Moxley will still be champ in 4 months, and I will say that yes, we will see the AEW championship title defended at Wrestle Kingdom because that's just good business for New Japan. Bottom line, it's just good business. If they're trying to expand to the States, the pandemic is, I mean, except for all the people that are still dying, it's over. So people can travel now. I think that we see it, but who knows? Just fun to ask. Okay, Zach, keep us going.
So setting up another important match, Jericho versus Danielson. We had a really good match with Danielson and Jake Hager. Maybe the best Jake Hager match I've ever seen. I haven't seen a ton of them. I didn't watch them in WWE, so maybe you guys can come up with another one. But that was pretty fun.
Hager used to have a bunch of great tag team matches when he was with Cesaro, when they were
Americans.
The Real Americans. But yeah, I really like this match. It started off slow. It was hard for Hager to get it was hard for the crowd to get behind any of his offense because I think that it was a foregone conclusion that Bryan Danielson was going to win. That being said, I've always liked Hager's work rate. I've always liked his offensive moveset. He can sell, and Bryan Danielson is the best. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I mean, the schmaz afterwards was so predictable, but I mean, it was fun.
I almost wish that Daniel Garcia didn't say, if you're going to let him take a week, then keep him off TV. That was my biggest problem with this whole thing. I like the match, the fact that you had Hager versus Danielson, where they both had like a wrestling background, but you have Jake Hager with the MMA shit, but Bryan Danielson's no joke. That the match itself was cool, but it wasn't really about the match. It was more leading towards All Out Jericho versus Danielson. If Daniel Garcia is going to stay at home and think about this, then keep him off TV. There was no reason to have him out except for the finish. Okay, and I get it. It's more intrigue. It's sports entertainment-ish to a certain degree. I get that point. But if you're gonna have that on TV, and that's the main thing that I took away from it, is that he's got to think about it. Then let him think about it.
I just had a really good idea that they should enact next time that Bryan Danielson turns heel, because it's probably not that far down the line because he loves working heel. You have Garcia be like his sidekick, and you call Daniel Garcia Danielson. Jesus. So you have Garcia Danielson and Bryan Danielson are on the same side. I like this match. I'm enjoying the Daniel Garcia storyline. The match at All Out seems to be for Daniel Garcia's soul. I saw somebody say on Twitter it's the Daniel Garcia on a pole match, which really made me giggle pretty good. I liked it. What's next, Zach?
We also had the debut of W. Morrissey. So I will say not debut. But
Return.
Looks like
whatever.
he's gonna return. Looks like he's gonna be a recurring character on AEW. I don't know if that means he signed or what, but the dude looks better than he ever has, like ever since I've seen him. So there's that.
He looked unbelievable.
Yeah, couldn't believe how good he looked.
Yeah,
I don't know how big of a needle mover or game changer he'll be, but I mean, good for him. I think that's more interesting than Braun Strowman.
I do too. Which one would you rather have? I mean, William Morrissey. You'd rather have William Morrissey as a talent, right?
Yeah, if he's sober and healthy.
Hasn't he? He's been sober for like 3 years or something, though.
I was going to say the great part about TNA Impact is, well, I shouldn't say TNA Impact. That's you over here. Impact actually helped him, like rehab his image. You have this big guy in Morrissey that obviously was in WWE and had his problems. And he had to go away, get his shit together, and he came back, and Impact was one of his stops. Mm-hmm. They built him up to where now he's now a commodity again. So obviously he goes to AEW last night. He squashes the Wingman, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Stokely is the only interesting part about this to me, because now you look up and now he's got this group, this guy, this woman, whatever the case may be.
They should call it the stable of misfit toys. That's what I'd call it.
You can call it what you want.
Give me the pencil.
You can call it what you want.
Come on, that's a good name.
As long as you give me Stokely on the mic at some point, because that to me is, number one, I'm not a huge fan of Morrissey being there. I almost kind of think he should be going to WWE at this point, but
surprised he's not.
That's just me. Number two, now we're getting to the point where we've seen Stokely, Ethan Page, Morrissey, the Ass Boys. Jay might be on the background, in the peripheral. He has his own stable going. At some point, it better be on Sunday. He needs to staple. There needs to be a stamp on this staple and have Stokely come out and wreak havoc at some point. That's just me.
Are the Wingmen better or worse than the 3MB?
Are you going to say 3MB?
I mean, they were. Did you see when they said, "Let's all put our pinkies together," and then they started chanting, "Touch the tips"?
Yeah,
they were like,
I gotta say, way worse, because there's no way that there's gonna be 2 world champions out of the Wingmen.
That's what made 3MB so stupid, though, is because even when 3MB was happening, it was like, why is Drew McIntyre in 3MB? And why is Heath Slater was the one where it was like, man, this guy can work. This guy is good. He's got kids. I like having
Slater can work.
I like having a comedy jobber stable like the Wingman.
Good.
I'm all for it.
I am too. I'm a firm, I'm pro jobber, especially if you do it right. That's what the Wingmen are. And they came out, they did their job, they all caught that work. It was fine. My question is, why Morrissey going to AEW?
Zach, anything else that's not going to be covered in the predictions section of the show?
I don't think we really have to talk about anything else. I will say that the kind of match to set up the casino ladder match was fun. It had Dante Martin, Ray Phoenix, and Roosh, and Wheeler Yuta. So that was a fun match to watch and made me really look forward to whenever they have ladders and they're doing even crazier shit.
Totally. Without further ado, let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, the 3 count was going to be main roster stuff. We can go over this stuff pretty quick, I think. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah go over Dakota Kai and Io Sky to win the vacant WWE Women's Tag Champions. This was surprising to me, and not in a good way. Jason, what do you think?
From what I read, they want to build up Raquel Rodriguez. So if you want to do it, this is one of the ways to do it. Tag team championships for the women, especially in WWE, have not necessarily a great track record so far. Maybe you can build Aaliyah up as well. Underwhelming. I'll call it for what it is, because I think we can all say that we thought that Dakota Kai and Io Sky were going to be the champs. You have Naomi and Sasha come out, and then you have this, much bigger storyline. If this is the way they're going to go, I get it. I don't necessarily think that Aaliyah is the best tag team partner, but if you can get her over while building Raquel Gonzalez, that's a 2-for-1 deal.
Jason, I'm going to ask you odds, okay? Even odds, if you had to bet, do you think that Zach gives a fuck about this? What are you taking? Go ahead.
I'll just give you my money, man. Shit. You don't give two asses about this.
Zach, what do you think about this? Zach, what do you think
Take the wallet.
I wouldn't say that I don't give a shit, but I will say that, like, I'm not going to get upset about it because, like, those women's titles, like, don't mean anything.
That means that he doesn't give a fuck about it. Yep.
Okay. I do think it's baffling that you would. I understand Raquel, but, like, that you'd put him on Aaliyah. She's just not good.
And she's, like, also, like, really bland. She is, like, generic. And I hope she's not listening, but she is generic women's wrestler on WWE video game type personality. It's like if she was just, it looks like somebody that they would make up. That like, oh, her name's Aaliyah, and she's hot, and she's kind of brown skinned, but like not black, but she's
like
super hot.
Ambiguous.
Yes, thank you. That's what I meant to say. She's like Charlie Caruso, but a little browner, I guess. Like,
Shit.
And worse at wrestling.
Yeah, right.
She doesn't, even though she's been doing it for like 8 years in the WWE system, she just doesn't ever get better.
She's like the color of Horatio Sands when he acted like Aaron Neville on Saturday Night Live. It was like, that is a deep cut. I will tell you something on Raw that kind of disappointed me, and I hate to say this, but if you would have told me that Kurt Angle and Chad Gable were going to have an interaction on Raw, and it was going to be a comedic interaction, I would have expected a little bit more. But I think that Angle is a little out of practice. I don't think that it was Gable's fault. I'll actually blame Angle, and I am an Angle devotee. So, but I did like the American
Alpha. He's on your Mount Rushmore from time to time.
He is, yeah. I mean, I love him. Like what you like. I would have liked a little bit more out of this, but I did like the Street Profits versus American Alpha. I love Otis as a heel, and I love Alpha Academy, and I love Street Profits. So I expect a little bit more out of this. What do you think, Jason?
I agree. That was one of the biggest things when Chad Gable and, Kurt Angle was on the back end, and he had the match with Baron Corbin or whatever. That was, his last match. And I was at Tinder's house on Monday. We were watching Raw, and he came out, and Tinder was like, oh, shit, Kurt Angle looks good. I was like, I will not be surprised if we don't have one more Kurt Angle match. I'm not sure how you get there. I was thinking maybe this is the seeds for it with Chad Gable, because it just makes too much sense. It makes too much sense. That's why I think I want the comedy portion of the program to be so good, and it wasn't. Maybe Kurt Angle was off. I don't know. It felt bad, but the match itself, I thought, made up for it. Otis, and I know Otis caught a lot of shit on this pod for being the Money in the Bank winner. He was throwing guys around like it was nobody's business.
He caught a lot of shit, but it was because his character was a comedy mid-card character.
No
it was
question.
not because, apparently he is a shoot wrestler that can
do this shit.
Can really fuck guys up. Yeah.
Right. It was the fact that he was never built up for this moment. It was like you said, it would be like Yano being the G1 winner, and all of a sudden now he's the next in line to be the champ.
He's heating up.
I like this.
No,
yeah.
no, ain't no heating up.
That's good.
That shit ain't gonna happen. Goddamn it! I will walk to Japan. Okay, your boy can't swim. Your boy can't swim. I will swim over to Japan and make sure that shit don't happen.
There are boats and planes. Zach, any thoughts about this?
I think Kurt Angle's last match will be against Flair, and there'll be a bottle of painkillers and a shark cage above the ring.
Why are you doing my boy Angle like that, man? Why are you doing my boy?
No, Street Profits did him like that. They gave him the little whatever was in the cup, and all of a sudden Kurt Angle was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Dude, come on, man! You gonna try to let Kurt Angle relapse? Come on, man! You know you ain't supposed to give Kurt Angle nothing that ain't milk," which was a good spot.
My wife was sitting there when I was watching it. She was like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Yeah, he likes milk. I don't know.
It made sense."
And the last thing I want to talk about, and we don't have to spend too much time on this, but Seth Rollins and Riddle had to sit down not a face to face, but they were both facing the camera. The mics went off. Or there apparently was a hot mic that was caught where Seth Rollins said, "Yeah." Riddle said, "There's only one man in your marriage, and it's Becky." And Seth Rollins goes, "Well, you don't have a marriage because your wife left you and left the kids." And then Riddle went off. I don't mind this shit at all. I mean, they're pros. If they want to bring this shit into, who am I to judge it? It seemed to me to be a little desperate, a little too soon. They haven't even had a match yet. This is like
that's the point.
This is the shit that you get before the second or third match, though, right?
No, hell no.
Right. Tell me why I'm wrong.
This is supposed to be the SummerSlam match, and then they wrote it off because Seth stomped Matt Riddle out on the way to the SummerSlam card. By the way, Matt Riddle's getting his name back. Somebody else got their name back.
Austin Theory
got their name back. Okay, thank you, Triple H. I mean, I can't be running around talking about Theory. You know the fuck I'm talking about. It's Austin Theory. Anyway, for me, this is perfect because now you have all this build up. They fought in the crowd. They fought outside. Now you're talking shit. This is like what you would see in boxing or UFC, shit like that. To now, the first time they have this match is going to be on Saturday-ish, wherever time you're at in this world. I loved it. I really loved it. I love the fact that they're talking shit, and I love the fact that it got personal.
What'd you think, Pullman?
I loved it, but not necessarily the content. I loved the setup. I thought it was just really well done. It riffs off of, like, this was like a thing that happened in MMA. It probably was Riddle's idea. I'm just guessing because in my background, this happened like in UFC where there was like they do these kinds of promos in UFC to build matches, and there was like a hot mic situation that actually happened, and it was kind of a news story. It was like some years ago. I can't remember the fighters, but I love the setup of it because it's just something we don't normally see.
Right.
And it's not necessarily the fact that he got personal or that Riddle was dropping F-bombs and they were bleeped out. That was all well and good, but I just like some originality, even though they're copying something else. But it's just not the same shit all the time. So it was like a breath of fresh air, and I thought it was cool.
No, and for me, it's like Conor McGregor is like obviously one of the biggest UFC MMA stars that we have around. This is something that you can see Conor McGregor getting involved in or whatever. And it wouldn't even be backstage. Well, actually, take that back because everybody wants to kick his monkey ass. You probably have to be backstage where, you sit in your locker room, here's some cameras, and we're going to do this shit. For me, the build has been really good. The fact that the match hasn't happened, that's where I'm like, man, you talking all this shit, and now you getting ready to fight for the first time? Shit, let's get this motherfucker rolling. That's where I think that, I guess, quick sidebar for 30 seconds. like Seth Rollins was cutting the promo, and he was like, after I beat Riddle, I'm going after the Universal title. Drew is going after the Universal title. Karrion Kross is going after the Universal title. Kevin Owens, we didn't even talk about SmackDown where you had Sami Zayn. Holy fucking shit. I saw that Sami Zayn quip, I guess it was Saturday, when he was in the background, or he was in the Roman Reigns dressing room, and he was talking about setting up Drew McIntyre, and he's like, I get in guys' head, I pull out a blanket, I'm having a fucking, picnic, I'm doing my dance.
Dude, I died.
Man.
I mean, like, you could see everybody was laughing. Everybody in the room was laughing. It was so good.
This is the first time that I felt like Bill, where the epiphany came on to me, where I was like, oh, I can tell the difference between the Usos. Jimmy is, is dapping up motherfucking, Sami Zayn, the whole shebang, and Jay is like, get the fuck out. I love it.
It's a good story that one of them likes him and one of them doesn't.
I love that
That's
shit.
That's good.
I love that shit. Props to Sami Zayn. One of his best runs in WWE so far.
All right, Zach, are you drinking?
No. Stone cold sober.
We're gonna drink for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give us 30 seconds.
Ain't gonna be 30.
If I can't get this top off, it's gonna be 30.
Jason just picked up the shot and talked into it like it was the microphone. I don't know if you did it on purpose. Okay, here we go. All right.
And I beat you.
You got really, I don't give a fuck. You got to really trust the 99 brand to buy the 99 12-pack of mystery flavor.
Oh, shit. I was about to say, I didn't even look what this motherfucker was.
It's a mystery flavor.
Jason over here always got to bring race into it by saying I beat you.
Hey, man, look, I can't have this motherfucker talking about he's beating me in races by no means of the imagination.
That's going to do it for a 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, usually what happens here, we do predictions, and because we haven't been in Shock City Studios for years, Sam Maul, friend of the show, hope he's doing good. Miss him. Great dude.
Mr. Perfect's in the house.
He used to have a way to just loop it so it never stopped playing, but the way I do it here is that I have to start playing it, but then I have to hit it like every time that it's over. And I'm just not going to do it this time because I might play it every once in a while, but we have 3 shows to get through. 3 shows of predictions to get through.
See how your dad is just, copping out on the show, but that's okay.
Well, I'm just not going to do it.
I'm just not going to do it.
I'm just not going to do it. Zach, I will let you choose what pay-per-view we want to predict first. So, what are you choosing?
I think, honestly, really want to talk about Clash at the Castle, as I've been watching Raw and SmackDown every week, and I kind of am really looking forward to this show.
I love this.
I'm gonna wake up in the morning on Saturday morning and like watch this shit live.
No,
inconvenient.
I love that Zach is actually doing a little bit more than the bare minimum.
Watching AEW
to prepare for the podcast. All right. So we are going to start with Clash at the Castle. So
holy shit, what the fuck's going on? I'm losing control of the pod.
All right, so we will start off with the women's six-woman tag match, which is the faces, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Becky Lynch versus the heels, which is Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. And I will let Zach go first. I've already written down all my shit, so I'm going to let Zach go first.
All right, so Mary, Bayley, fuck. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, wrong game.
We're not doing Mary, fuck, kill. Okay.
No, she get killed.
What?
Fuck, Mary, kill. With
all right,
them?
hurry up. Go.
Okay, here. I'm going to choose Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. They're going to go over. The heels are going over.
Okay, fuck, Mary, kill. Go quick.
Give me the fuck, Mary, kill for both teams.
Oh, we're doing both teams? Shit.
Yeah, do both teams.
Two Beer, go.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, go first. Yeah, this is still you.
Man, I guess I'd have to. Oh my God, this is just. I can't do it. I can't do it, guys. I got the brain fog.
I can do it.
COVID brain fog.
I can do it. You ready for it?
Everything I do sounds racist.
I fuck Dakota Kai, I marry Io Sky, and I kill Bailey. The faces are actually pretty hard. I am. Oh, yeah, this is gonna sound racist. I am fucking Asuka. I'm marrying Becky Lynch, and I'm killing Bianca Belair. I guess that's a hard one. That is actually really hard.
Jesus Christ.
What do you got?
Okay, I'll go with the prediction first. I will take the heels on the win because obviously, as coming back, you should have them be a little more established. I don't think there's much of a plan going for Alexa / Asuka. Mary Death Kill. Okay, I'll go the heels first.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, hang on. Let me think for 30 seconds. I would fuck Dakota Kai. I would have to kill Io Sky. I would marry Bailey. She's got that little thickness that Daddy likes. On the opposite side, I'm gonna marry. Look, shut up. I'm gonna marry Bianca because we're gonna have some kids and they're gonna run this world at a later point when I die. And I'm gonna have to kill Alexa and have sex with Asuka. There you go.
Wait, I thought it's Becky Lynch.
No, it's Alexa Bliss.
It's Alexa Bliss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought it was Becky Lynch. Never mind. We'll keep going. Trust me,
Jesus
we're gonna have another
Christ.
fuck, marry, kill later with some dudes. But
We are not.
so coming up next, we have Riddle versus Seth Rollins. I'll go first here. I'm taking Seth Rollins. He needs a win. He just lost 3 straight to Cody. I don't think that he's had a pay-per-view match since then. So I'm taking Seth Rollins. Who you got, Jason?
I'm trying to think. Has Seth had a match since? I don't think so. I'm gonna take Matt Riddle. I think this is a springboard for Matt Riddle to go to that next level. Seth was talking about Universal title in his promo, which I loved. You weren't here for that. But I think Seth Rollins is at a point where, honestly, I think his character is still Teflon. We're all waiting for Cody to come back. So if he has to lose to Matt Riddle at this point, that's okay. For me, I see bigger picture for Matt Riddle. I see bigger picture for Seth Rollins. I'll take Matt Riddle.
2 beers, Zach. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Seth Rollins, although I don't think it's over. This is the first of some matches, but like Bill said, Seth has just lost so much, and he hasn't lost anything through it. And even though Seth's been like beating Riddle down a lot, I think he's going to keep doing it, and he'll get this victory, and then Riddle will get his comeuppance, and then maybe by then Randy Orton will be back.
All right. Next, we have Edge and Rey Mysterio, former tag team champions, versus Judgment Day, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor. Zach, go ahead.
Got to be Judgment Day here. I mean, they're a new, fresh faction, newer. It's really it's Edge and Mysterio's job to help get these guys over right now. So I also think Dominic might join. This might be the moment that it happens.
Jason and I are both making faces because I guess it's that obvious. Like, yeah, it looks like Dom is going to fall under the spell of Rhea Ripley. You know, some guys like
everybody else has.
Not guilty
really
charge. Look.
I'd kick the tires, but she's not really my style.
Actually, I think she'd be kicking you.
Right.
I am also taking Judgment Day. Who are you taking, Jason?
I agree. When on Monday, one of the things that we really didn't talk about, but we can talk about it now because this is why you saved it. That's why you're the host. You know, if you're Dominic Mysterio and you catching that work week with Rhea Ripley kicking your ass, you got the kendo stick and you give it up just that easy? Please. Heel turn in effect.
I'll never forget when I was I worked the door at this bar in Columbia called Widman's. I was 21 years old, and I was not in any shape to be a bouncer. Not at all.
So nobody was coming in. What the fuck?
No, it was a pretty low key bar.
Yeah,
I was just checking IDs. I was checking IDs because it was Columbia. Basically, that was my job to check IDs.
Of course.
And I
Columbia is a college town, just FYI.
Yeah, Mizzou is winning 21-10 against Louisiana Tech.
Look at you.
Should be winning 31-0.
Look,
Anyway,
you should be happy they winning.
But anyway, this was a big life lesson for me because I saw this little 5'2" dude walk in. No shade against short guys, but this guy was little.
No, I love this. I know where you're going with it.
This tall drink of water walks in, and they were meeting, and they had drinks at the bar, and they walked out holding hands. And I don't know if she was working. I'm not judging sex workers either. I'm just saying people like all sorts of different things. So God bless Dominic. I know that he's tall, but I know he's not as big as Rhea Ripley. And, kayfabe style.
Kayfabe style.
I hope they fuck. So coming up next, we have Gunther versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Champion. Now, in the Intercontinental Championship. Now, keep in mind, this is in Wales. So the crowd is going to be hot for Sheamus, I think, because there is some UK love there, probably, even though Wales,
historically,
I've read books about the Troubles. I know that Wales and Ireland are not the same thing. Either way, I am taking Gunther. I think this is the perfect time to put Gunther over. Gunther was Mr. NXT UK. He was also Mr. European Wrestling even before he joined NXT UK, and he held the belt there for 500 and something days. I'm taking Gunther. It's Sheamus's job to put Gunther over here. Jason, who you got?
You stole everything that I was going to say. I would say Progress Wrestling. I would say XWX in Germany. Gunther is that guy. I love the fact that you now position Sheamus to have the one title that he doesn't have against the guy that you need to put over. This is going to be big, meaty men slapping meat. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. Gunther should go over. I'm taking Gunther.
Slobber knocker. Zach, who you got?
Oh, yeah, I got Falter.
Ooh, look at you.
It's going to sound just like a goddamn... I don't even know. Like, what's just a bunch of smacking? Just unrhythmic smacking. It's going to sound like me having sex, basically. It's just going to be just...
I was just going to say, it's going to sound like me having sex.
I haven't had sex in so long, I don't know what it sounds like.
Slap, slap,
right.
Slap, 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 slap.
Well, we're good. We're good.
Slap, slap, slap. All right, coming up next, we have Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. Zach, you go first.
I got Liv Morgan. I just, I don't see it. I know that, Triple H was a Shayna guy. I just don't know that it's her time right now. So I think Liv's going to keep it.
Jason, who you got?
The fact that you said that Shayna's a Triple H guy, an NXT girl, whatever you want to call her. This is one of those times where, I get it. Liv Morgan should be a champion, somewhere down the line. It's going to be hard for me to sit here and absorb the fact that she's beating Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. I get it. I'm going to take Liv Morgan. I just don't like it. They've kind of fumbled the Liv Morgan title change at certain points. For me, I'll say this. The one thing I want to see out of this match, Liv Morgan's going to win. I want to see Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey be on the same team. It's not going to be the 4 horsewomen that they were talking about 3 or 4 years ago. But this makes sense. Even if you have Shayna Baszler be the heater for Ronda Rousey and warm her up for Ronda Rousey to ultimately take the title away from her, these two women need to be together. It makes too much sense. That's what I'm looking for, ultimately, at the end of the day.
I think that you guys are insane. I think that the Liv Morgan experiment is over. Triple H is in charge. He wants to have a strong women's champion, a strong women's division. Shayna Baszler goes over Liv strong. Shayna Baszler goes over Liv strong. Less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes.
I'll take a shot bet on the 5 minutes, number one. And number two, the only reason I would disagree with that is because the week when Liv Morgan came out with that fucking, Barry Bonds fucking armor cast on her arm, Shayna Baszler worked that arm, and then she came out. Liv Morgan came out the next week, wrestled the match without the armor. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I mean, I'll take Shayna Baszler. Like, I'll bet more than a shot. Like, this is my Bill Vagey Stone Cold Lead Pipe of the week. I meant Lead Pipe Lock of the week. You knew what I meant. I haven't even gotten high yet. So coming up next, we have Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. So many variables in this. Jason, go ahead and go first.
I was thinking about this on the way over because I'm that guy. I think I'm the biggest Roman Reigns fan since he's flipped over. I'll let you guys say it otherwise if not. The biggest thing to me is Drew McIntyre needed to be a credible threat to Roman Reigns. And they've done that via vignettes and then, having Roman Reigns being taken out the week that the Usos weren't there. Sami Zayn took the bullet, whatever the case may be. I get it. I love me some Drew McIntyre. I really do. He's a pandemic champion, and there's a lot of pandemic champions running around. I don't think it's a knock against Drew McIntyre. There's a lot of, social media chatter saying that, he deserves this. And he kind of does. I think that him versus Brock Lesnar would have been an amazing WrestleMania match in front of fans. Without question. He carried the WWE through a uncertain era. And that's going across all avenues. AEW, New Japan, whatever. There was pandemic champions across the board. But I don't think this is where this story ends with Roman Reigns. I'm going to take Roman Reigns. It's going to be an unpleasant mood for Wales or for Cardiff, I'm sorry, but I'm going to take Roman Reigns on this one. I just really don't think that the Roman Reigns story is done. And I said it last week, and I'm going to keep saying this, if this was a single title for the Universal title, for the WWE title, I would have more inclination to say that Drew McIntyre would win. But with all chips in the middle, if you want Drew versus Roman as the top of the heat, I think Roman's going to be the top of the heat right now.
Two Beer Zach.
I will say that Bill is definitely not the biggest Roman Reigns fan on the podcast. I don't think he would piss on Roman Reigns if his hair caught a grease fire, which is good because it would not put it out. It would just make it worse. So don't ever piss on a grease fire. But
learned that lesson the hard way, did you?
Went from mushroom cloud to no mushroom. Anyway, I am going to go opposite tack. I think Drew gets it not because he deserves it, but because WrestleMania is all about making moments, and this is and putting smiles on people's faces. And I know they're cementing this big, long reign, but who else you got after this? I mean, I know they're kind of planting seeds for Kevin Owens. Cody can come back at the Rumble, win the Rumble, and beat whoever it is. If they're doing Rock at WrestleMania, it doesn't need to be for a belt. Roman Reigns is already kind of doing part-time. He can also just win it back on another pay-per-view, at the Rumble, or win one of the belts or whatever. I think it's Drew McIntyre. I think the time for better is now.
Love it. I love the pick. It is not who I picked. I picked Roman Reigns. Listen, I'm going to be watching this. I'm going to be watching this live on Saturday because wife's going to be gone. I'm going to be here with the baby. It's going to be during the day. This is
before
perfect.
4 o'clock.
This is
Thank
like
you, WWE.
suburban dad pay-per-view. It's like when the Australian Open used to start at 1 a.m. when I closed a bar at 3 a.m. and I could just
Jason
watch.
Stumbling. What's up?
I could just watch like the last hour of a Federer match as I sat there and counted my buku bucks that I wasted on fucking gambling and booze. But I am taking Roman Reigns. Lots of factors in this. There is the
Karrion Kross.
There's the Karrion Kross factor. There is the Sami Zayn factor. There is they are in Wales factor. There's the let's pay back Drew factor because let's give him the moment they never got. Let's make him, they owe it to him because he was such a great champion during the pandemic and never really got his due, as these guys so eloquently put. At the same time, what do I always say? All roads lead to Roman.
Yes, sir.
It would be stupid for me if I'm just playing sabermetrics with it. I'm going to take Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns always wins.
I don't think it's going to be clean.
I don't think it's going to be clean either. I think that McIntyre probably gets a visual pin at some time during the match. Might be a ref bump or something.
Sammy gets in. Usos get in.
I do know one thing for sure, though. Well, Sami Zayn is doing, Zach's news saying is Sami Zayn is is a delight. It is true.
Yes.
Sami Zayn is doing great work getting this bloodline thing over, and
I think it was already over, but now it's like a whole nother angle.
It's so much fun to watch. I don't think it's going to be clean. Yeah. McIntyre gets a visual pin. Roman Reigns walks out with
as the champion
with the belts. So
agreed.
That is our Clash at the Castle. Is it Clash at the Castle? Is that what it's called? Clash at the Castle predictions. Now we're going to move on to NXT Worlds Collide. So the first thing we're going to talk about, Ricochet comes out and cuts a promo on Carmelo Hayes. He has one super great line on him where he says, "You've had lots of title defenses, but not one that anybody remembers," which seems to really cut Carmelo Hayes deep. Ricochet is coming back for the North American title. Carmelo Hayes has done an admirable job calling the North American title the A title, which no matter what you say about the North American title or about Carmelo Hayes, if the wrestler believes that the title is important, then the title is important. And I really like the work that Carmelo Hayes is doing. I like Ricochet coming back. I'm looking forward to this match very much. I'm taking Carmelo Hayes. Jason, who you got?
Damn. Kurt Angle, not Kurt Angle, but Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig is one of my favorite wrestlers. When he had the Intercontinental Championship, it was one of my favorite runs because he made it feel like it was the biggest title. Even though Hulk Hogan was the champ, Ultimate Warrior might be the champ, but this title is the most important title.
If it's important to the character to keep it, then it's important.
So in this scenario, I love me some Carmelo Hayes. I love the fact that you're matching him with somebody that can just bounce around with him.
Elevate him, really.
I don't think as somebody that hasn't watched a lot of NXT, I'll say this. I'm a Carmelo Hayes guy to begin with. That being said,
if you were a Carmelo Hayes guy, you would be watching NXT.
I don't need to. I've seen 2 or 3 to where, we need to move him up, and then at that point, talk to me at that point. I love the fact that we have somebody that's going to match him style for style in this match. I would expect that Carmelo Hayes should retain. I would take that as the pick, and I'll take it one step further. I expect it to be the match of the night. God forbid it's the step on too much on this branch, but this motherfucker, if you like that trios championship match or the semifinals in the AEW, This should be more of the same, and I think that this might be the match of the whole weekend. Whole weekend.
Zach Pullman. The match of the weekend, including
whole
All Out?
Weekend.
Including All Out?
Whole weekend.
Well, that's okay. All right.
I said might be. I
right.
said might be.
I
qualified
he's backing
it.
off it.
I qualified
He's
it.
backing
I
off it.
qualified it. I qualified it. I said qualified it.
Zach, who do you think's
going to
win?
The whole match.
Oh man, you mean the upset match of the whole weekend? God.
You gonna take Ricochet? You gonna take Ricochet, or otherwise shut the fuck up?
Would that be an upset?
I don't know. Would it? I'm looking at you. Would it?
I got Carmelo Hayes here. It would just kind of. I think it just wouldn't make any sense to bring Ricochet back down. Been there, done that. I think it's a big win for Carmelo Hayes if he does go over Ricochet, though. It is very interesting how that, I'm watching NXT this week, and just anybody from the main roster. I mean, Doudrop got like an Okada pop. It was just ridiculous.
Whoa, easy, big fella, easy.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
NXT has a good crowd. It's a small crowd, but it's a good crowd.
Look, NXT is an amazing crowd, but.
Speaking of Doudrop and Nikki ASH come back, and they are going to fight Caden Carter and
okay, come on, man. Come on, man.
Used to be Casey Catanzaro.
No, don't help him.
No, that's not her name anymore, though. She changed her name. It's not. I would say if it was.
They gave it back, I think.
No, they didn't. I promise they didn't. I promise they didn't. Anyway, who you got, Zach?
Oh, is it for the belt?
Katana Chance is her name. Katana Chance. It's Casey.
I think Rio had that painted on her face. Dynamite.
So, who you got? I have them KK squared versus Doudrop and Nikki ASH. Who you got?
Is it for the belt?
Yeah, it's for the NXT belts. The women's tag belts.
Yeah. I'm going to take the NXT gals again.
All right. Zach is taking the NXT gals. KC squared is what I got him. Katana Chance.
Isn't that what her name was before?
She was Katie Catanzaro.
Before she got married.
Yes, that's right. Before she got married.
Caden Carter. Okay, that's
Caden Carter's the.
Okay,
she's
that's
the black
chick
one.
that looks like me. Okay, shut up. I'm working on this, motherfucker. Back up.
She's the black one. Katie
I
Catanzaro.
know you are not going to ready to sit up here and tell me who's black and who's white.
Well, there's a black one. There's a white one.
Unfucking believable. I'm taking the chance.
Bubba Ray is white. Who you taking?
I'm taking the chance on this one.
All right. Fair enough. I'm taking Doudrop and Nikki ASH. I picked Carmelo Hayes, and I think that there has to be somewhere on this card where some main roster people win. So I'm going to decide to take it with Doudrop and Nikki ASH. And hey, just a real shout out to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. If you're going back to changing names, can we go back to Piper Niven instead of fucking Doudrop? Because it sounds stupid.
If we're going to throw it out, that shit, then I need to see Bobby Roode back as the glorious Bobby Roode.
We have the men's tag team match, which is a 4-way. Sounds hot. It is the Creed brothers versus Briggs and Jensen versus Gallus, which is the Coffee brothers, and Pretty Deadly, who have some pretty cool shirts that I would wear. I'll go first here.
Yeah, it's you, the NXT guy.
Least likely to win here, I'm going to take Gallus, who currently has no belt. I'm going to take Briggs and Jensen second worst to win. Just they're the NXT UK tag champs right now for some reason. I have no idea why.
Right.
I'm going to put Pretty Deadly second most to win. I'm going to take the Creed brothers to win because the Creed brothers fucking rule. Put the Creed brothers in the World Tag Champs, in the World Tag League for NJPW. No, I'm serious. No, they are fun to watch. They are fucking cool. They could learn a lot from those guys too. Jason, who you taking?
Jesus, this is where I.
The Creeds are cool.
No. it's one of the times where it's like I watch so much wrestling and I'm like, who is in this match again?
I can give you a one-sentence synopsis.
Run down the names again.
Gallus, the English dudes with beards. Briggs and Jensen, the guys are supposed to be real country, like they go to rodeos and shit. Guys that me and Zach know really well. Pretty Deadly are the like super effeminate European dudes, and the Creeds the Creeds.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Least to most.
I'm gonna play some music.
Because I have no idea who these jokers are.
In the vine here,
I have no idea who these jokers are. I'll go like this.
Might be too high, bro.
No, Gallus. I think Gallus is the team I think that should win it.
So you're taking them most likely to win.
I'm gonna take them 1. I'll take the Creed brothers 2.
Here's where we separate the men from the boys. Okay,
Okay,
so
fine.
pretty Deadly or Briggs and Jensen.
I'll take Pretty Deadly 3 and Briggs and Jensen 4. There you go.
Fair enough. What do you got, Zach? You've watched one episode of NXT in the last 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, come on. All of a sudden, I'm the worst guy in the world.
I watch it every week.
And I don't watch it at all.
And it sucks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Zach.
Least likely, Pretty Deadly, followed by Briggs and Jensen, followed by Gallus, and then the Creed brothers for sure, because they are something else.
This guy sounds like an expert.
Whatever.
So we have 2 matches left. We have the women's, which is a triple threat match, the Bill Vegas special. We have Mandy Rose versus, help me out here, Blair Davenport versus Maiko Satomura. That was close,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I'll go first. I have Mandy Rose, least likely to win because I think that she's going to the main roster. I have Blair Davenport second, and I have Maiko Satomura most likely to win. And really, those two are probably interchangeable. I just don't think it's going to be Mandy Rose. What do you think, Zach?
I think I agree wholeheartedly. I think Mandy Rose is least likely to win, and then I'll give Blair Davenport number 2, and I'll go with Maiko Satomura at number 1.
Jason?
First consensus pick of the night.
All right, here we go.
I haven't seen a lot of Mandy Rose, but the clip, the small little snippet I saw with her versus Zoe Starks, as long as you can book her that same way where they took the.
You mean Blair Davenport?
No, I'm talking about Mandy Rose against Zoe Stark. I guess it was like 2 weeks ago in their title match, and she took Zoe Stark's knee brace off and she used it for the win. If you can use that booking with the Mandy Rose, heel heat that she should get, works for me.
And then finally, we have Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate for the unified NXT titles. Jason, go ahead and go first.
I'll go first on this one. I've been a big...
It seems like you feel strongly about it.
No, it's not even I feel strongly about it. I think you've gone first a lot, so I'll go first on this one. Love me some Tyler Bate. I think Braun Breaker is like the future of this company. I think if Roman Reigns decides to go another 3rd year, Braun Breaker should be the guy to do it. However, if we're going to get Braun Breaker to that point, I think he needs to be as strong as humanly possible. Beating Tyler Bate, that's somebody that's been on our Beefers match of the year.
Twice.
I think that's something to be said.
I think I have 2 Walters and 2 Tyler Bates.
Tyler Bate, I think, is already ready-made for the main roster. I'm going to take Braun Breaker here just for the simple fact that it just builds his resume more. Tyler Bate is over. You can put him on the main roster right now. Put him against Roman Reigns. I think you can have a great match against Roman Reigns, or if you split the titles, whatever the case may be. I'm going to take Braun Breaker for the undisputed titles of NXT.
2 beers, Zach. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm just echoing those sentiments. I've got Braun Breaker.
I have Braun Breaker also. Tyler Bate could wrestle anywhere. He could wrestle on the main roster. He could wrestle in NXT. He could wrestle fucking cruiserweights if he wanted to. This is the guy that can do anything. We've seen him have a match of the year candidate. If not the match of the year, it was my match of the year, which was Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate at that NXT Takeover. That was the second match. It was the second match on the card, and it stole the entire damn show. And really, all they did was beat the shit out of each other. And then you have Tyler Bate versus Walter. Walter comes back to NXT this week and says to Tyler Bate, I want to see the Tyler Bate that went 45 minutes with me at Southampton or something.
I'm not even going to try it.
Either way. Oh, sorry, dude. My point is Tyler Bate can do anything. Braun Breaker needs this, and Braun Breaker can be a generational star in WWE. That's how I feel about Braun Breaker.
The guy that I think should beat Roman Reigns for the title.
Oh, I mean, that's a far way down. That's at least 3 years down.
No, a year down.
He's still so green, but he is a fucking natural. So all of us had Braun Breaker. Okay. The only thing we had different on there is that I had Doudrop and Nikki ASH. You guys had the KCs, and then Zach didn't have the Creeds or you didn't have the Creeds as number one, but Zach and I did. You had Gallus. Okay, so here we go.
Going up to the main roster, just on quick NXT talk.
Did they say that?
It's supposedly going to happen.
Here's a thought that I had today, and we'll take a little break from the predictions right now because I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Here's a thought that I had today about Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the Bloodline is that wouldn't that be a fucking badass Survivor Series team? And maybe now that Triple H is back in charge, or that Triple H is in charge, maybe Triple H likes the original Survivor Series shit, and we're going to move towards some real Survivor Series shit.
5-on-5, 4-on-4.
Could we have Legado del Fantasma hook up with like Rey Mysterio or something, or hook up with Los Lotharios? Like, give us some Survivor Series matches, right, Zach? Right?
Go ahead, Two Beer.
Yeah, either that or just get rid of Survivor Series. That shit sucks.
Yeah, don't make it bragging rights. Make it.
Yeah,
let's have
champion
teams.
versus champion thing is cool.
Yes,
I
agree. I totally agree. It gave us Brock versus AJ and Brock versus.
I like the fact that
Dana
you
Bryan.
can do both. You can do both. You can honor the old school, traditions of the past. Teams
unless the Wyatt
teams.
family comes back.
Okay, but you can still do, champion versus champion, Intercontinental versus U.S., blah, blah, blah. And
I'm just thinking about that.
And a lot of that would pose for the fact that Roman Reigns would have to drop the first championship to somebody else.
Think about
if he does it, you can still have him at the top of the card.
Sorry. Think about a 5-man Survivor Series team that is Jimmy and Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Sami Zayn.
Give me a fucking break.
Fucking awesome.
You're going to say Sammy's like, come on, news. Come on, news. Come on, news. And then Jimmy over here like,
All right. So so there's 3 pay-per-views this week. If you could only watch one, which one would it be?
All Out.
Zach.
All Out for sure.
Yeah, okay. All right, me too. All right, so we have Tomohiro Ishii is going to fight Eddie Kingston on the pre-show. I'll go first here. I'll tell you what, Jason, if I didn't let you go first enough times, we'll go in order here. I'll go first here. I'm taking Eddie Kingston.
I'm taking Ishii on this one. I'm as a New Japan guy.
Holy shit.
Actually, take that back. I'm taking Eddie Kingston. I apologize. I take Eddie Kingston. As much as I'm a New Japan guy, this is probably the way Eddie Kingston comes back. Gets to Sammy Guevara. I apologize.
Ishii makes him look like $1 million. Yeah.
Eddie Kingston doesn't need to look like $1 million.
Yeah, but Ishii fucking rules. Zach, who you got?
Eddie Kingston.
All right. So next up, we'll let Jason go first. So for the All Atlantic Championship, we have Pac versus Danhausen right when he just starts to put on makeup.
Wow. Let's call this man what his name is Kip Sabian, and now I'll take the champion on this one and retain. I like the fact that they at least connect the dots, but if you're gonna do anything with one of the 16,000 championships that AEW does, this might be a good way to keep this shit rolling. I'll take Pac as the retain.
Zach, who you got?
Pac.
Me too. I'm taking Pac. Next up, we have Hook versus I guess mommy magic is what you would call him. The fucking broke ass dude from Jericho Appreciation Society. He's the sidekick to the worst person in professional wrestling today. I think his name is Angelo Parker.
Wow.
Zach, you're going first. Except for maybe Billy Gunn's dumbass looking kid, Colton or whatever the fuck his name is. Come find me, Colton Gunn. Come find me, Colton Kip.
He could take a chop.
Come find me.
Oh, Jesus. See, you made Zach hang up.
No, that's Aaron.
That's
I don't know why she thinks that we're not still doing the podcast. So we got Hook versus Angelo Parker. Who you got, Zach?
Definitely Hook.
I'm going to take Hook, too. I think the fact that they're going to have Hook just squash a bunch of guys on the way up to build them up, I think it's a beautiful fucking thing. If Hook doesn't win it, I'll run around Bill's, what is this, neighborhood naked? What is it, 8 o'clock? Yeah.
No, I mean, you ain't got to do that. I'm taking Hook, too.
I'll do it.
So now we're getting some real matches. We got...
He wants to do it. He can do it.
We got a four-way match for the women's championship. We have Toni Storm, Bianca Belair, or Britt Baker. Sorry,
Wow.
I just wrote down BB. Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, or Shida. I will. It's my turn. I'll go first. I got Toni Storm most likely, Jamie Hayter second, Shida third, and I got Britt Baker fourth.
Tubi, I'll let you go first.
Least likely is Jamie Hayter. Third is Shida. Second, Britt Baker. First, Toni Storm.
I'll go least to most.
Hold on, I wasn't listening. What was it?
Jesus Christ!
I got my wife texting me. Sorry, Zach. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Number 1, Toni Storm. Number 2, Britt Baker. Number 3, Shida. Number 4, Jamie Hayter.
Okay, and Jason.
I'll fuck you up even more. I'll go least likely to most likely. I'll go Shida as number 4. I'll go Jamie Hayter as number 3. I'll go Britt Baker as number 2, even though I think she is going to win this match. And I'll go Toni Storm as number 1 because Thunderstorm is some sort of deal.
We have next up, Jason, you go first. We have Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho.
For me, it's kind of easy on this one. I think Daniel Garcia obviously is the tipping point, and I would be very, very surprised to see him go over to the Blackpool Combat Club. I think he comes in, turns on Bryan Danielson, and helps Chris Jericho win this. I'm taking Chris Jericho to win the match.
Zach, who you
got? This is a tough one. I'm going to pick Danielson. I don't really have any reasoning. Jericho doesn't lose that often. Danielson doesn't lose that often. It's not like it's a custody situation.
The fuck it ain't.
It would make no sense to prolong this feud between Daniel Garcia and Daniel Bryan. I know that he is called the Dragon Slayer now, and I respect that. I think that's a cool nickname. It would be an even cooler nickname if him and Bryan Danielson were cool with each other. I am taking Bryan Danielson. Jericho does not need to win this. Did that make sense? Made sense to me, bro. Made sense to me.
Okay, then that's all that matters.
All right, up next we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Zach gets to go first. We have the House of Black versus Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin. Who you got?
So this is tough, kind of, but Sting hasn't lost ever, and I don't know that this is the match where you do it. I know that he had like the black makeup and stuff. It definitely could be interesting. There's some intrigue here, but just being smart, I'm not going to bet against Sting because he hasn't lost yet.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm taking. Sting and Darby Allin don't lose. I'm taking Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin, and maybe even Black's on his way out.
Now, I have to agree with this one. The second consensus pick. I'm a big fan of Miro, especially now coming to AEW. It's time for him to do what he needs to do with the House of Black, and then if Malakai Black leaves, so be it. But Miro's the star in this one.
I do think we have to give a shout out to Miro, though, for his promos, including a lot of him yelling at God. Talking about how wrong God is. I mean, it's truly...
It almost sounds like me sometimes. What are you trying to do to me?
It's truly unbelievable. Okay, so next up we have the 8-man. The 8-man casino ladder match between Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Penta, Phoenix, Roche, Andrade, Dante Martin, and to be determined. I will start. It's my turn, and I'll go least to most. I already have it written down. I have Wheeler Yuta as the least likely. Dante Martin is second least likely. Those two are interchangeable. I have Roche. Then I have Penta. Then I took TBD just to be fun. Then I have Claudio Castagnoli as the third most likely. Phoenix is number 2, and I have Andrade winning it. Jason, go ahead and go next.
Holy shit. Okay.
Do you want to see a list?
Yes, I would love to see a list. Jesus Christ.
That's going to be...
Okay, got it. Oy vey. I'll go Claudio as the least likely to win. He's already got a title. I'll take Wheeler Yuta just behind it. DM is who?
Dante Martin.
Dante Martin. Okay, I'll take Dante Martin next. Penta after that. TBD, Roosh, Andrade.
All right, Zach, you're up. Zach, you're up.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Finally, I found it. I was having a hard time finding this card. So I am going to go with least to most. I'll go Dante Martin, least. Penta after that. Phoenix after him. Then Roosh. Sorry, swap Roosh and all right. Sorry, Dante Martin, Penta, Ray Phoenix, Wheeler Yuta, Roosh, Claudio, Andrade, and then I'm picking the Joker.
Probably smart.
Joker hasn't done much after the fact, but not a bad pick.
No, we're actually on Jade and Athena. So we have Jade Cargill versus Athena for the TBS title. Jason, you're going first.
This feels like it's the time. It feels like it's the wrestler. Toni Storm, I have winning the title. I don't think you do Toni Storm and Athena or Toni Storm and Jade right now. I apologize. I'm going to take Jade to retain.
All right. I was getting ready to skip you. Zach, who you got?
Yeah, I can't argue with that because I can't go against Jade for the same reason I can't go against Sting. So, yeah, I got Jade retaining.
There's been no reason to bet against Jade and no reason to think that Athena is going to take this from her. So I also am taking Jade. Next up, we have FTR and Wardlow versus the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. Zach, who you got?
It's definitely FTR and Wardlow. I mean, they're decorated. I cannot fathom Lethal and Motor City Machine Guns going over this.
FTR and Wardlow versus Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. Hey, guys, this is my Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Week.
You just did it.
I'm taking FTR and Wardlow. There's no way they lose. I did not.
Yes, you did. Oh my God,
Jason, who you got?
I'm gonna
Take the machine guns, you pussy.
I would love to. I think honestly, I think this is gonna be one of the matches of the night. It just doesn't make sense for it's in kayfabe style for the machine guns to come over and be against Wardlow and FTR. Not unless you're going to do a whole program with it. If Bill is right and the machine guns win, that's how you have at least a program with them and FTR. Don't see it happening. I'm taking Wardlow and FTR to win the match.
Okay, we have Swerve in Our Glory versus The Acclaimed. It's weird. It's like all the black people only fight other black people in this promotion. So fucking weird. Anyway, I'm sure it won't be that way.
No, fuck that. I'll go first since you're talking that bullshit.
I'm sure it won't be that way in the next match. I'm sure it'll be.
I'll go first.
It won't be blacks versus blacks in the next match. Anyway, go ahead. Swerve in Our Glory versus The Acclaimed.
I'm taking the black guys to retain the titles. Oh, my bad. It's all black guys. I'll take Swerve in Our Glory to retain the titles. I'll go after the Acclaimed. I am the Acclaimed guys. I just don't think this is the if you did it, it would have to be Swerve flipping heel way too soon. I'll take their chance to retain.
Who you got, Zach?
I'm picking the Acclaim just because I hate the name Swerve in Our Glory so much that I'm going to try to manifest that it ends.
I am taking Swerve in Our Glory because I hate the team, the Acclaim, so much, and I hope that they squash them so bad that it ends. Coming up next.
Wow.
Coming up next, Powerhouse Hobbs. Oh, he's an African American. I wonder if he's probably fighting a white guy, right? No. Oh no, he's fighting Ricky Starks.
It makes sense. God damn it.
My bad.
This one makes sense.
Zach,
He's
who you
white
got?
passing. He's white passing.
You wish. Zach,
I got. Give me Hobbs.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one.
Tough.
Any thoughts on it?
I think Hobbs kind of his main personality is that he's a monster. He doesn't really have a whole lot of talking skill and stuff yet. He's working on it, so I think he just has to kind of continue to be a monster, and he doesn't get to continue that by losing. Whereas Ricky can move on and talk his way into another feud, whatever. But that's why I think Hobbs is gonna just kind of have to stay strong here.
I'll go next. I also have Hobbs. The reason why is I think that Ricky Starks is a legit main eventer in the making. He rules, and I think a loss to Hobbs wouldn't matter for nothing because Hobbs probably has the factory behind him or some shit like that. I don't expect it to be clean, but I expect Hobbs to go over, and I expect Ricky Starks to be an even more mega babyface afterwards. I'm looking forward to this match, and I hope it's really good.
I was going to hope you were going to talk me out of picking out Powerhouse Hobbs. I really was. All that makes sense.
Do we really think the same way this much? Because we pick a lot of the same shit. All three of us.
I want to pick Ricky Starks. I really do. But I just don't think this is where it ends. The only way it doesn't end is because of some fuckery or... Fuckery is to me is the only way I don't see this Joker.
So you're taking Hobbs?
I'm taking Hobbs. I don't want to take Hobbs. I want to take Ricky Starks and then move him on to somewhere else. But right now, a lot of things in flux.
Really interesting. That's really interesting to me. Next up, we have the Elite versus TBD. So it's going to be Hangman Page with the Dark Order against
we
the
just
best
gonna
friends.
chalk them on over.
I mean, either way, this seems like a really lopsided
fuck that.
final, right?
No, fuck
okay,
that.
I'm going first. My turn.
Name the team that wins the semifinal match tomorrow night, because obviously we're recording on Thursday. So you have to name the team that wins tomorrow night between Dark Order and Best Friends, and then that team faces the Elite on Sunday night.
I mean, what a bummer. Like, listen, I like John Silver. It's John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Hangman Page. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, those are 3 fucking pretty fun workers. And so are Trent and Chuck and Orange. I just don't know. Is this punishment to Hangman Page for all this bullshit? Is Hangman Page... He makes his comeback in the backstage segment with John Silver. Listen, I love John Silver. He can work, but it seems like Hangman Page. I'm taking the best friends.
2 Beer?
I'm taking Page in the Dark Order.
I'm going to piggyback on 2 Beer. When you have Omega and the Bucks on the other side, it's going to be real hard to justify.
That's the thing. It's the continuation of that story.
Right.
It's the
You're
elite
taking
story.
both of you guys are taking Dark Order.
I'm going to take Dark Order in the sense that.
All right, so that's going to be another point here. We're going to count it as another point because we don't know who's going to win.
Okay. Now, that being said, I'll go first on the title match itself at All Out. Dark Order with Page versus the Elite with Kenny Omega. A lot of storylines going around. It's real hard for me to pick against the Elite. I'm not going to do it. I'll take the Elite to win the inaugural AEW Trios Tag Team titles.
Zach, who you got?
The Elite. The Elite. Like, they waited for Kenny Omega to come back. They've had these belts made for months. Like, they could have done this any time. Like, they were waiting for Kenny.
It's the
They're
Elite.
going to establish these belts the way they usually establish inaugural belts with very strong champions.
Okay, so all 3 of us have the Elite. We have Christian Cage versus Jungle Jack Perry. He said he changed his name. He said, I'm not fighting this Jungle Boy. I'm fighting this Jungle Jack Perry. And I hope that is permanent because if he wants to be a main event player, his name can't be Jungle Boy. Jungle Jack Perry is a great name, though. Like a great wrestling name.
I was going to say Jack Perry is going to be good, too.
You get to go first.
I think this is Jungle Boy getting his comeuppance here.
Jungle Boy's not fighting in this match? Oh, you mean Jungle Jack Perry? Oh, sorry, I didn't know who you were talking about.
Yeah. It's Jungle Boy all the way.
I am also going Jungle Jack Perry. Zach will not put respect on that man's name. He is a full-grown man.
Is he?
He's 25.
Okay.
He might look like
I thought he
Tarzan's
was going to be like
son.
23.
I'm taking Jungle Boy. JJP. Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Actually, that should be his name. Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
No,
That's even better.
That's a little wordy. I was going to say Jack
Stone
Perry.
Cold Steve Austin?
What about John Jacob Jingleheimer?
Didn't think about that, did you? Hunter Hearst Helmsley?
Okay, Triple H. Okay, Stone Cold is totally different. I mean, he's no Jungle Jack Perry. It's not no Stone Cold Sting Austin.
Who are you taking?
I was trying to delay this for as long as I could. I really think that Luchasaurus is somewhere around here, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
You taking Christian Cage?
Is coming in with the gimpy arm. Luchasaurus has a run around here with Black, and there's no payoff for it. I'm going to go with one of the swerves of the night. I'm going to take Christian with the assist from Luchasaurus.
Love the pick. And then finally, so we picked 24 matches tonight, gentlemen. This is the big one. CM Punk versus Jon Moxley at All Out for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in Chicago, Illinois. I think it's Zach's turn.
Hey, guys. You the AEW, Mark. You go first.
I'm going to pick CM Punk, and if you can just volley in a fart noise after that, that would be cool. But I think this is what the plan was all along, Chicago. I know that it's not what I want to happen. I think Moxley is just on an absolute tear, and it is like, if I'm wrong, I'll be very happy. Let's just put it that way. But I understand business on both sides. CM Punk is their biggest star. He's like their biggest draw. But Mox is just doing the work of a lifetime, and I think it should be him, but I just don't see it happening.
So I'm next. So you see how on fire Jon Moxley is with the unified belt, right? He came out and he cut a incredible promo. He's had the belt for a long time in AEW, and then he lost it for a while, and then he joined Blackpool Combat Club, which was also cool. And the guy is fighting around the world in all sorts of different promotions. And he is that compelling as a champion, as a babyface champion, no less. Name me another babyface champion that's been this compelling since Daniel Bryan in WWE. It doesn't happen. Heels are compelling, baby faces aren't. And he is so fire. And that's why I'm picking CM Punk, because Jon Moxley in this character, in chase mode, I mean, we're talking Stone Cold level shit. We are talking people are going to get behind him if CM Punk turns mega heel on Sunday, and then Jon Moxley turns into babyface on a chase who has been wronged and is justified in the way that he's thinking about the way he's been wronged. I'm taking CM Punk, and I'm rooting for CM Punk because I am rooting for the next 3 months of AEW Dynamite. Jason, who you got?
Okay, so just quick sidebar for 30 seconds. You're saying that CM Punk wins and he goes mega heel, so I'm assuming that there's fuckery in this?
Yes, there's going to be fuckery. So the only place, if CM Punk can turn Chicago against him,
right,
CM Punk can turn anybody against him. So
who is the guy that assists him?
MJF.
I think he could just cheat without outside interference. He could just realize that Moxley's got him, and he cheats to win.
He could do it either way. But listen, this is also kind of a hope pick, because this might not be the way it plays out. But I'm really hoping that CM Punk tries to turn Chicago against him, because of all the things he's done in his career, that's one thing he's never tried. He's never even tried. And this would be the place to do it, because Jon Moxley is such a mega face. I know I'm talking some sense right now, right?
You have me kind of reevaluate my pick, but I'm going to stick to my pick just because.
It'd be funny if Moxley just squashed CM Punk in 90 seconds.
It's
that would be so funny.
That's the main event? What's this popcorn shit?
So you're taking Moxley?
I'm going to take CM Punk on this.
Oh! I thought you were going to. Oh, okay. All right.
No,
we're all taking Punk?
It's going to be hard for me to think that Punk loses at home, number one. Number two, I think this is probably the direction they were going to go anyway. MJF is still looming. If there is a way, if you want to be cute, MJF helps Moxley win, and then you do another CM Punk Moxley or MJF thing, which we've already seen. But for me, the next step up, Punk, MJF title, move along.
All right, let me ask you guys a question, because we have now predicted 25 matches, and that is just what we do. And you know what? There are 50 wrestlers on the AEW card, and you know who's not on it? Adam Cole, Sammy Guevara. It's like they have so many people.
Okay.
14 matches.
Quick sidebar for 30 seconds.
I'm sick of guys like Tomohiro Ishii taking spots away from guys like QT Marshall.
So if there is another swerve. Yeah, right. If there's another swerve.
Is Zach not even going to giggle at that?
If there's another swerve, that's where I think I won't call it the biggest swerve, but if the Bucks and Kenny don't win the trios titles, I think that's where you see Adam Cole.
Oh, man, that would be sweet if he came in and just super kicked.
And just made
Omega.
sure they didn't win.
Yeah. Man, did I just figure something out?
No, well, because, like, Bobby Fish is not going to re-sign with AEW, so that's why.
Bobby Fish is not coming through that door.
Okay.
Malakai Black is not coming through that door.
We don't know that.
Cody Rhodes is not coming through that door.
Okay, so in that scenario, that might be
Zach,
poo-poo.
is All Out AEW's WrestleMania? Because people keep talking about it like it's AEW's biggest show, and it's
either that or Double or Nothing. We talked about that before.
I just think the four of them are all kind of equal.
No way.
There is no.
I feel like they're always phenomenal cards, but I feel like Revolution and Full Gear kind of take a backseat to Double or Nothing and All Out,
right?
Because of the holiday weekend and the established cities and like stuff like that. I think they're just treated with a little more like reverence. Although
that's fair enough, I never even thought about it that way.
This All Out does not seem. I mean, it's Punk and Moxley, but the rest of it, there's like some good stuff on it, but I'm sure it's going to be a good show, but it just does not seem.
It doesn't feel like a loaded card that AEW has presented before, and I said it the other day, and I'll say it right now. It's not loaded like with a bunch of stars,
man.
But I expect this card to deliver.
There are a couple guarantees on this card, though, like Bryan Danielson versus Jericho. That's a guarantee.
Yep.
Pac versus Kip Sabian. That's a guarantee. FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns. That's a guarantee.
Jay Lethal was in that motherfucker. It should be good.
I mean, the Elite versus TBD. Listen,
should be good.
I'm with Zach these days. The Young Bucks, they put shit on free
they're
television
the most
every single week.
Tag team of all time. Most entertaining. Most entertaining.
But what's more important than entertaining?
Being the best.
Don't look at me like that. You say that, you motherfucker. Don't fucking look at me like that. Oh, he did a little shake.
I just do a shake. I just, did my little head, being the best, motherfucker.
From Ringside.
Hey, we got some birthdays this week. Molly Holly is 45. Oh, I need to do a retraction from last week. Didn't realize that Crash Holly had passed away.
He ran me down in the fucking text thread about it.
He passed away in 2003, apparently, which is damn near unbelievable. Did you know that?
No, of course I didn't know that.
You didn't know that. Zach, did you know that?
Of course I didn't know that.
All right, so if he died in 2003, he'd be an old man by now. He'd be older than Molly Holly. Molly Holly is 45 this week. Braun Strowman, the aforementioned,
back in WWE,
baby.
in
WWE. He is 39 years old. The Barbarian.
Dude, really? We're going to look at me like this? I'm going to go with alive.
Is he alive or dead?
I'm going
Zach,
alive.
Is he alive or dead?
He's alive.
Thank you.
All right.
Zach ain't on hook for this. He's like, yeah, we're going alive.
Bam Bam Bigelow is 61.
Dead. I know
that poor bastard. Sammy Callahan is 35. He's still alive.
Definitely
TJP.
Alive. Definitely alive.
Trick question. What belt does TJP have right now?
The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Woo! With who?
Akira.
God damn, this guy is good.
Yeah, hey, man, that's my wheelhouse. It's New Japan, baby. I got you on that.
The Bunny is 35. Doesn't look a day of it. Karma, a.k.a. Awesome Kong, is 45.
I'm going to get pregnant so I can get out this motherfucker.
But she faked the pregnancy, right? That is such a wild story. Xavier Woods. The guy sucks. He's 36.
Stop. That's why he blocked you on Twitter.
He did block me on Twitter.
That's why he blocked you on Twitter.
I made fun of video games. He talked about Metroid, and I was like, yeah, dude, you're 30. And he blocked me on it.
Metroid's one of the best video games of all time.
Anyway, he's 36. I hope he's doing well.
You don't.
My wife has joined the conversation. What'd you ask?
This is a wrestler who blocked you because you made fun of him for playing video games?
I didn't. I asked him how the Metroid tasted or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I was just messing around. Anyway, the second version of Sin Cara, which is Hunico, is 45. He was not the first version of Sin Cara. Do you remember who that was?
Sin Cara. Okay, I'm sorry. Your wife is...
Oh, she's looking for a baddie.
Dude, what the fuck?
Hey, everybody.
Wrap this shit up.
We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Erin Nicole Vagey, my beautiful wife.
Jack.
For Millie the cat, for Xander the cat, for
Jack,
Reba the dog,
Jack.
for Ed the May. Pray for her. She's teething so bad.
Double check.
For Zach Pullman and all of Zach's kids who are apparently in like college now. Like I see pictures of them. I'm like, how old is this person?
No shit.
For
Jack.
Vice. For
Jack.
Murray the Murray Man Murray.
Jack.
For Patrick. For
Jack.
Shock City Studios. For
Jack.
Jason Cornelius
Thank you.
Bell.
Okay, I
I
give
am
a
Bill
love.
Vagey.
Double
And never
check.
forget to boo the heels.
Ooh, bitch.